In one recent crypto scam, one man scammed out of a six-figure sum gets his money back. And in this video, we're going to find out how he did it. Today's episode is sponsored by Cake Wallet, where you can send, receive, and even exchange your crypto right from within the wallet. Cake Wallet is open source and non-custodial, so you control your own private keys. Available today on iOS, macOS, Android, and Linux. And StealthEX, a privacy-centric crypto exchange which enables you to make crypto-to-crypto exchanges anonymously. Good evening everybody, and a warm welcome again back to Enter Crypto. This is the channel where I keep you informed and fully up to date on all the goings on in the cryptoverse. If that sounds like something you would be interested in, then like, subscribe and click on that notifications bell so that you don't miss out on any future updates. Now today's video we're going to be talking about a scam that happened, and the victim actually managed to get his money back. So let's read through this article quickly and then we'll comment after. So a County Down man who was scammed out of his entire pension pot and life savings has had all of his money returned by his bank. Trading Standards helped him secure the victory and said it is one of the biggest cases ever awarded by the Financial Ombudsman. The retired public servant returned to work after he became embroiled in a sophisticated cryptocurrency scam. He invested a six-figure sum in a fraudulent company, and the man who the BBC has called Mark wishes to remain anonymous. His investment started with £200 and quickly grew as his investment seemed to be doing well. Eventually, the fake company advised him to invest his pension pot, and it was after this that it became apparent it was a scam and he had lost everything. It was all gone. When Mark realised he begged those behind it to give him some of his money back, I told them there wasn't enough money left to bury me, he said. I had reneged on my duty to look after everyone. I had 2 daughters and there was nothing there to support them or help them if they needed it. If anything happened to me, my wife would be comfortable, and then it was all gone. Mark fought for almost 2 years to get his money back. He was turned down multiple times by the Financial Ombudsman and by his bank, but continued the fight with the help of Trading Standards, who eventually won him a repayment from his bank. They completely turned everything around, he said, and Mark added the support and guidance he received was priceless. I would say to anyone that is in a similar scenario for whatever financial amount to go to Trading Standards. Mark was helped by the fact that he kept all documentation and detailed notes about every conversation. He even tracked the company down to an address in Scotland, but that also turned out to be fake. I didn't realise that the bank even had a duty of care to me. Damien Doherty, the Chief Inspector of Trading Standards in Northern Ireland, said he was delighted with the outcome, adding, "It's been a while getting there. We thought there was a good case to take," Mr. Doherty said, and whenever the case came to us, we were dealing with someone in the depths of despair, who had lost hope, who really had nowhere else to turn to, and it was a huge sum of money as well. Unfortunately, the scammers have got away with it, but the bank has a duty of care to its customers, and there's a code of practice that all banks know in terms of protecting customers from crime and fraud, and in particular scams. Mark described the moment when he received the news he was getting so much of the money back. The email with the decision came on a Friday, but I couldn't look at it. It was the Sunday before I read it. That was the first night I had slept properly in all that time. But he says there was no joy or celebration. The only celebration I would have is if those people were caught and had to pay the money back out of their own pocket. They do this and they know they'll never be caught. Software engineer Jim Browning told BBC News Northern Ireland there are certain signs to look out for in sophisticated scams like the one Mark was victim to. A real investment firm will tell you about the risks about losing money. Scammers never do, he explained. That is a warning sign. They will say anything in order to encourage investment. And Mr. Browning told Evening Extra, it is important to remember that scammers are professionals at making their scams appear legitimate. They have a lot of experience in doing this. You are definitely not going to be the first person that they run past with this scam, he said. And if you looked at some of these websites, you would be very hard pressed to figure out that this is something amateur. And so this guy got really quite lucky in the end. Well, I mean, you could say we also got very unlucky as well that he even fell for this in the first place. But, you know, he was very lucky to get his money back. In crypto, we don't often hear of anybody getting anything back ever by anybody. So it is good that he got his money back. but it could have been, not to kick him when he's down, but it could have been avoided if he'd have done his due diligence, and if he'd have done his own research, as I mentioned in a video about a scam about an Australian lady a couple of days ago. Do your own research, be critical and cynical of everything, especially if somebody reaches out to you. I would almost never ever entertain anything when someone reaches out to me, because there's just too many scams out there, and they're just looking for vulnerable people, or not even vulnerable, but people who just want to, who like to gamble. Who think that if they put a little bit in, it's almost certain that they're going to get more out. And the real world is not like that. That doesn't exist. There are things where you put a small amount and you win more out, but they take a lot of thought, a lot of research. Usually you need to have done hours and hours and weeks and months of research before. I personally put in months of research before I invest in anything. And if it's too good to be true, or if I feel pressed time-wise, I just don't invest in it. It's as simple as that. I just don't do it. There's always going to be another opportunity. And, so if I don't invest in something and then later it goes up in value, do I beat myself up? No, I don't really care, because later there will be another investment. Next week there'll be another thing and another thing. So I never rush into anything, and if you ever look at how scammers communicate, there always is an element of rush for you to get your money out, to put your money into whatever it is that they're advising you to put it into. It needs to be done today, or it needs to be done by the end of the week, or that's nonsense. There is never investing. There's never a rush like that. Especially if you're just completely new to it, take your time, sit down. Get your laptop or your iPad or whatever it is that you use to read up and do your research, and it's your money at the end of the day. You will lose if you don't do the correct research. Now, I'm not saying that if you do your research, can you still invest in scams? Yes, of course you can, but you limit. You're managing that risk again. You limit the risk. The more research you do, because the more knowledge you'll have, and the less risky that investment will be for you personally later on. And then you can, as I said in the video a couple of days ago, if you feel that it is risky, but it might be real, or you've got concerns about it, you can put a tiny amount of money into it. You don't need to go all in like this guy, putting all his, his pension. You don't need to do that. It's extreme. It's excessive. It's silly to do that. That sort of and look what's happened to him. It's bad what's happened to him, but it's good. The end outcome was good for him. He's very, very lucky. This does not usually happen. So definitely keep an eye out. I don't want any of my subscribers or followers to lose anything at all. And reading into it and being critical and cynical of everything that you come across will protect you. And it'll separate the chaff from the wheat. It'll separate all the good from the bad. Given time, you'll start to say, it seems obvious this scam. I'm glad I didn't put any money into that, because I've had time to do more research and look into it. And so that's what I've got for you today, guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click on that notifications bell, and I'll see you all tomorrow evening. Take care.